Hello, hello, hello. Listen,
Welcome, Mr. Gaskins. How are you today?
I am excellent. I'm so happy to see you and be here with everybody.
Thank you for being here. Can you take this moment to tell us some more about yourself?
Sure, absolutely. You know, as a health and life coach, I developed the CRUSH method. In fact, if you go to my YouTube channel, it's called Crush Your Mountain for a reason. First of all of us are facing a challenge. All of us have a mountain to deal with. It could be health. It could be family. It could be getting a business off the ground. It could be just setting a goal and creating a new path in life. Well, my crush method helps us to navigate those circumstances so we can reach through the other side. My channel, I say, don't just climb your mountain, crush through it. And what I mean by that is, why struggle to climb when we can conceive and commit, refine and rework, undertake the process, sustain, and then habituate everything that we've learned in order to keep things going and get to the light at the end of the tunnel, to get to the other side. You see? So that is that is the whole idea of the crush method and helping individuals to achieve their goals. And one of the things I focus on in particular is type 2 diabetes. So many individuals are dealing with that, and the challenge is that we don't realize just what is happening to us because we live in a world that promotes sickness for
Yes.
profit.
Yes.
So my goal is to help work with the mindset first, to help them to see where they are and see the possibilities of living a real life now, and then hopefully a greater life in the future.
Okay, Mr. Gaskins, I was reading and doing my research about you, and I see here that you also was a caregiver, and you're a poet and a certified health coach and life founder of the Crystalis Transformation Coaching Services in Raleigh, North Carolina. How did you even get started into all of that?
You know, that's an interesting story. First of all, my own story is with T2D, okay, type 2 diabetes. Uh, at some point a few years ago, the doctor said to me, well, Mr. Gaskins, you are pre-diabetic for type 2 diabetes. But don't worry. What we're going to do, we're going to put you on insulin. We're going to give you some metformin, and it's manageable. You'll be all right as long as you just stick with the insulin. And it says you just go on. It's hereditary. You can't do anything about it. Runs in your family. We know. So it's just part of life. And I said, it ain't gonna be part of my life.
Right.
Okay. I said to myself, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start a YouTube channel. But in order to do that, I'm going to attack this particular mountain in order to defeat it, in order to crush through it. I'm not going to just manage my diabetes. So I decided to make some changes, and I did that. I began to exercise a bit more effectively. I began to change my eating lifestyle because I don't like to use the word diet. Okay,
Right.
you know why you don't like to use, I don't like to use the word diet.
Why
If you take the T off of diet, what do you have?
die?
Yeah. So I don't want to
Right.
die.
Exactly.
So I have an eating lifestyle. And by means of that, I was able to lose 20 pounds. I was able to help others to do the same. And I was able to put on a little bit of muscle. But more importantly, when I went to the doctor, he was saying, what did you do? See, I refused the insulin altogether. Now, the metformin I didn't mind taking because in the longevity studies, there's actually some very interesting results that they're learning in terms of how um, metformin affects the body and promotes health and life. So I don't mind that. But the insulin, I know that type 2 diabetes actually is called insulin resistance. So I decided not to do that. And in doing so, the doctor saw me and he said, it's amazing. What did you do? And I said, look, I told you I was going to go on the insulin. But during that time, I said to myself, there are a couple of things going through my mind. I said, number one, there are other individuals who need this help and this service. And number two, my philosophy has always been that we are all in a state of becoming. Now, why is that the case? What does that really mean? The symbol I chose for that concept was the chrysalis. Okay? And to let you know, a chrysalis is the encasement in which the caterpillar transforms into the butterfly. It spins a cocoon, cocoon hardens, and then it becomes that chrysalis. Sometimes you might see them hanging from the tree, right? And then, by means of this tremendous energy that's taking place inside there, the tremendous effort that happens during that time, it can break through and emerge as something totally different, as a transformation creature. And
Wow.
that's what all of us have the opportunity to do,
Mhm.
because we are human beings that can choose our outcome. And that's the case. We are all in a state of becoming. The challenge is to be intentional about your outcome. So here's
Okay.
what I do. That was the basis for Chrysalis Transformational Coaching, where I've helped so many individuals to overcome not just the type 2 diabetes and lose weight, but also deal with personal challenges. There was I have a young lady there who was dealing with some sleep issues, and we had to take her through the process. We had individuals there who were just dealing with overcoming divorce and other challenges like that, had to work through those processes. Who do you want to be? And can you choose? Are you willing to choose to be it? Here's a secret. What does a chrysalis and a hatching egg have in common?
Wow.
What do you
So I wanted to ask you this. When you talk about the transformation and then, the experiences that you've gone through and the coaching that you do now, what would you say would be the best or the most beneficial first start for someone who's needing help, who's trying to change their eating habits, change their lifestyle, and make a 100% turnaround just exactly as you did? What do you tell your clients when you first meet them?
well, when I first meet my clients, the first thing I need to do is sit down and hear their story, hear their lifestyle, find out who they are, because type 2 diabetes is not a dietary problem. It is not just a physical ailment. It is a lifestyle circumstance issue. So what I would do is listen to very carefully as to the things that they are dealing with day to day, how they live their lives day to day, what they've tried to do prior, and what things are they enjoy about their life and things like that. And then we start to forge a path forward. No two are like, because we're different people.
Right.
And so I sat with this one gentleman, and he was telling me about the challenges he was having dealing with the aftermath of divorce, and the fact that he was in the house by himself and working from home all this time during COVID, and what it was doing to him. And although he liked to do certain things, enjoy life a certain way. And so guess what? We worked within those frameworks. We looked at the stress levels that he was dealing with and made some adjustments over time. And as time went on, the stress levels went away. He began to follow the simple exercise program that we put together for him. And next thing you know, he began to pack on muscles. His ex-wife said, he looks so good. I said, well, it's too late now. you know,
Right.
because he had put on the muscles. It was amazing. And you know, on the other hand, I have, like I mentioned, the other young lady. Now, then there's a young fellow, and with him, his situation was is more tragic, because when I met him, he was 8 years old, and he was on 5 different medications.
Wow.
And so through a number of situations, he wound up on a unit for a little bit. And then when he came out, he refused the medications, which was the best thing that he could do in
Mm-hmm.
his case. And so now he still has some challenges. So my job with him is to help him to get settled. You see, with him, all my clients are one-on-one, and so I take them through a process. With him, I have him going through the process of doing the heart coherence, getting in touch with and in tune with nature. Even we do a technique called grounding, where he's actually literally just barefoot in the grass and just connecting this body current to the earth current. You see? So many people don't realize that that we are part of the planet. Did you know that your heart generates an electromagnetic field that spreads out about 3 feet from your body? Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. Now, here's what we want to understand. Your brain, your thoughts operate off of electrical impulses. Your heart has an electrical heartbeat.
Right.
Now, where does that electricity go? All electricity seeks ground.
Okay.
We're running around in Adidas and Converse All Stars and Pumas and Jumas and all the other stuff, right?
Yes,
Fubu's and
yes.
Skechers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're insulated against that.
Wow.
So I work with them. Sometimes I will take my clients out when we do an in-person one-on-one. Then we go ahead and we take them out to a nice area, a nice park. Make sure there are no cow pies or dog pies around, and
Okay.
we take those socks off, and we have our sessions there, so that while we're doing the mind work, we're also getting ourselves in tune with the planet. You see?
Wow.
So there's so many different modalities that I like to use with my clients. But the first thing is to understand who they are
Mhm.
and who they want to be.
Wow. Okay. So you created the crush method and you said it's a 4-step sequence.
Yes.
Explain that to us.
So the crush method, even though it's a four-step sequence, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean that it takes place in 4 days or 4 weeks or 4 months. It
Okay.
all depends. So but the steps are the C stands for conceive and commit. So the first thing we have to do is, again, understanding our stories, understanding who we are, understanding what we want to accomplish, and then distilling the idea that will propel us forward to our own compelling future. Maybe I'm so tempted to call you by your first name, but I will stick with Miss Baker, to be professional about it. But maybe your dream 10 years from now or 5 years from now is to be a professional host on a larger platform.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe your dream is to just be an artist. Maybe your dream is to put out your very first novel. Well, we don't know that when we start. Sometimes the conception arises in the course of our discussions. And so once we reach that point where we have settled upon that conception, we have conceived of what we want to do, then we have to sit back and commit to it. And the reason why that's so important is because it's so easy to deal with the various avalanches and cave-ins as you're trying to get through to the light of the end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
We're so, you know, we're so determined. We start off with a huff of steam and everything else, and then things happens, life happens, stuff happens, setback happens. People make fun of you, people ridicule you, and eventually you give up. But if you have commitment, if you have solidified that sense of commitment, then you will always keep going, no matter what. Years ago, I worked with a group, a company, and I was a young fellow doing my best to take care of a family. So I wound up working with a construction company. We had a guy there named Beavis. Well, we called him Beavis because he sounded like Beavis from Beavis and Butthead. Okay. Now he had some substance issues.
Mm-hmm.
So one day he came in on a Saturday and he had drunk as a skunk. But Sunday he went to church. So Monday he comes in and he goes, and I went to church and the spirit, I got the spirit and the spirit pulled all the drugs out of me. I said, oh yeah? He said, yeah, so all the drugs out of me. That's okay. Then he goes, then he says to me, oh, I got the power to heal. I said, oh, okay. Okay. I got the power, and that's Monday. Tuesday, he's sitting there all day. Thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus, glory, hallelujah. Just kind of just doing that mantra all over again. And, us guys, we're talking about some, burly, tough, construction workers. We
Okay.
are ribbing him hard, They're just messing with him. Wednesday, it's too hard to serve the Lord. I'm just going to go back to the way I am.
Oh my goodness.
Now, that was a case of someone who obviously did not have commitment.
Mm-hmm.
But in so many ways, we fall into that category. We start off saying, okay, this is the year. I'm gonna lose all this weight. I'm gonna fit into that bikini. I'm gonna be strutting on the beach. Or this is the year. I'm gonna go ahead and start that business. I'm gonna get it up and running, and I'm gonna make my money. This is the year I'm gonna find that man. I'm gonna find that woman, and I'm gonna get the one I love. And we start off with a bang, and we end up in the fizzle. It's too hard. They're making fun of me. It's too hard. I can't find the right person. It's too hard. I should have lost weight, but it's too hard. The food looks so good. It's too hard. Ain't no good men out there.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, oftentimes we give into our own psychic inertia, fueled by those around us who want you to stay in the bucket of crabs with them.
Mm-hmm.
I have a saying, you are either the lone wolf on the hill or the crab in the bucket.
Mm.
You've got to be the person that's willing to stand there on top in spite of the challenges, in spite of the frustration, in spite of the ridicule, because every human being that ever did something great was ridiculed and made fun of. You see?
Mm-hmm.
From Einstein to Musk, every single one of them. So we help them to commit. And after we help them to commit, then we refine and rework. It's so important that we do that because we have to understand that it's never a straight line. Life is never a straight line. Life is a meandering river. And so Just like the old Beatles song, it's the long and winding road. We have to be willing to make adjustments, refine, rework. Okay, so maybe this didn't work for us now. So what we have to be committed to our cause. So my goal at this point is to sit down and refine a strategy, rework the strategy so that you can keep moving. And guess what? We haven't even started yet. We haven't even started yet to take the task, the actions, because the most important is we want to think about things ahead of time and have a plan so that what does happen or what could happen can be dealt with. Then gives us the confidence to stick to our commitment. Then once we have done so, once we have refined and reworked to the point that we're satisfied, we have a sense of confidence, we at that point we undertake, and now we're actually doing the task and we're keeping it going. We're doing the task and seeing the results. We're trying the whatever modalities we talked about, and we're following through with them. We're checking and seeing the results and making the adjustments as needed. We're hearing the ridicule and say, not today. You see, we're seeing the person laughing at us and say, go ahead and laugh for now, because
Yeah.
we are on the journey now. You see, and at that point, while as we're on that journey, we move to sustain, because we have to keep in mind that doing whatever we can to sustain is the most important thing. Psychic inertia is just like real inertia. When the rocket lifts off, it's got to spend all of this energy just to get off the ground and in past the gravity barrier, and then after that, this coasting, because things are now automatic. Well, the first thing you have to sustain so that you can keep that fuel going, keep that rocket moving, get past that barrier of gravity that's pulling you down. Your own fears will well up. You will have the nightmares that you can't do it. You'll wake up in a cold sweat saying, what the heck am I doing? You will meet people that will say to you, are you sure you want to do this? You know, a lot of people just don't, the business is going to fail. I mean, it fails. That's what it's all business fail. First thing they do. Why are you going to try? Look, you weren't cut out for this.
Mm-hmm.
Black people don't do that sort of thing. Okay? You see? So all of these things, you see, we deal with. And we have to know how to sustain. And sustenance is so important because it goes into the emotional fuel as well as the physical fuel. You see? And once we are moving now, we habituate and make sure that everything we've learned is now automatic. It's not just second nature, it is nature. We are doing things that will make us that. And before we know it, we have now struggled to emerge from the chrysalis. I asked you before, what does an egg and a chrysalis have in common? And here is the answer. Both of them, when the chick and the butterfly emerges, they have to struggle to break through.
Right.
If they don't, the chick cannot walk or fly, and the wings of the butterfly are stunted. Once you reach the other side, you are a new person. You have crushed through that mountain. You have seen the end of the tunnel, and you are now spreading your wings to fly, and nobody will touch you.
Wow. So, Mr. Gaskins, if just a simple person wanted to, I guess, reach out to you and just, I don't know, ask for your help or, you know, get into the same type of life-changing goals that you help others set forth, how would they go about just contacting you? Um, or like, do you have the website or, um, you know, how would they reach out to you?
Well, the best way to find me, okay, is a couple of ways. First of all, my business number is 434-218-4198. It's 434-218-4198. You can always give me a call. You feel free to leave a message or send me a text through that number. I will get back with you. The other thing is I have a Facebook group page, okay, and it's Henry Gaskins Crush Your Mountain. And so you can always apply there, and I'll bring you into the group. I have my weekly podcast there, Crush Your Mountain, where we interview individuals on health, wellness, and personal growth. So you'll find a lot of information, a lot of encouragement, and some rather inspiring situations too. Like John Hobbs, a 72-year-old bodybuilder who's still kicking it and makes 16-year-olds drool. He's married. He's been married for about 3 years now. His wife is 33 years old. And Stacy Kutley, who dealt with the horrors of being molested from her youth up, who dealt with being mistreated and abused in school because of the colonialist mindset, because she's an indigenous person, a First Nations person, who went and lost the weight and who exercised to the point where, dealing with the trauma, she was able to compete in her own bikini contest, fitness bikini contest. She looks amazing, and she still works out to this day. Not only that, she went on without any schooling, just because she began to work. As she started as a receptionist, and she went from a receptionist to getting her PhD. No formal college until she got her master's. You'll
Wow.
hear other stories as well. And then the individuals who most recently, you'll hear about J.R. Spears, who last week we interviewed him. He was blown up by a suicide bomber in Iraq. You'll hear his story, the traumas he's dealt with, but how he's overcome and crushes through that in order to help other individuals in their business and in their life. So you can go to my YouTube channel there. And of course, I do have the Chrysalis Transformational Coaching Service .com. That's Chrysalis Transformational Coaching.com. And you'll find me there. That website is eventually going away. So the best thing to do is to reach me through the modalities that I mentioned. Lastly, I've got 2 Instagram accounts: Diabetes Weight Loss. Look for Henry Gaskins. Both of them will come up. Diabetes Weight Loss and Hankster OG. The OG stands for old guy. Hankster OG. So
Mm-hmm.
you'll find that on Instagram, and you can reach out to me there. I'd be more than happy to sit down and talk with you, and we can sort of plot your course and see where you want to go, and how you want to go. But diabetes is a situation by itself, type 2. We have a lot against us if we don't know. You have a food industry that's designed to have food not necessarily taste good, but to hit your reward centers, so you have to keep going back to get more.
Wow.
You have a situation where many individuals live in what's called food deserts, where you don't have access to farm fresh foods and produce that you need, because that's where you get your nutrients from. On top of that, you have a fashion industry that wants you to love your body no matter what you look like.
Mm-hmm.
You see? And that is, those industries are bred to help you to think in terms of comfort. You see? And we all turn into boiled frogs. You understand? You know what I mean by that? When you take a frog, you know how you boil a frog? If you put him in the water and it's too cold, he's going to jump out. If you put him in the water, it's too hot, he's going to jump out. But if you put it in nice lukewarm water, oh, it's kind of nice in here. And then you turn the heat on, and it gets comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a while, is this so nice? I think I'm going to go to sleep. I'm not going to pay attention to my surroundings. I'm not going to pay attention to how I feel. I'm not going to pay attention to what's happening to my body. And next thing you know, you're cooked.
Wow.
And that's what's happening. That's why so many people, women are more likely to wind up with dementia than men. And I've worked in the nursing homes. I've seen it with my own eyes. Men will get dementia. They will also get Parkinson's disease. There's so many challenges that individuals are dealing with. And it's such a simple thing to just find the right foods and change the mindset. That's the hardest thing. That's the challenge. So reach out. I'll do my best to help you. And I've had excellent success. So, what I guarantee is if you do the work, you'll see results. You can't just come and listen to me and then just go about your business and live life every day. If you do the work, and I will support you through it, then you'll see the results.
Wow. Well, Mr. Gaskins, I am lost for words. I feel like your information is so beneficial and could potentially save so many lives. Um, I'm thinking of maybe we should do another podcast to go in more detail sometime soon. I definitely want to thank you for, coming on the show today. Thank you for starting this foundation that helps, regardless of the nationality, our healthcare and our mental stability is, the most important thing for any individual to keep up throughout their whole lifespan. And so, again, I just want to thank you for coming on our show. I definitely want everyone to check out your Facebook group that we are in it as well. And we appreciate that. I appreciate you. And we got a couple minutes left, about 2 minutes left. So this is that time that anything else that you want to say to all of our viewers and our listeners, now is the time.
Friends, your doctor has a lot of knowledge, a lot more than me. However, your doctor is not your dictator. He's not your boss. Okay? And oftentimes they're so overworked that they don't know the latest information. And they can't be there to support you the way they need to. They have to deal with everybody else. 15 minutes, $400, then they move to somebody else. My goal is to help you get from A to B to C and to see you in your best life. So even if we don't get together, understand this. There is so much information out there that can help you if you just take the time to learn and act. I'd love to get the chance to chat and we can sit down and plan and map out a path so that you can get to where you need to be. And hopefully we'll get a chance, and I look forward to seeing you. And like I always say in my channel, don't just climb your mountain, crush through it.
Yes, crush it. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Mr. Gaskins. Um, wow. I'm just torn and thrown back by how knowledgeable you are. It's amazing. And I just want to thank you again. And hopefully we'll be talking to each other soon.
Yes, indeed. Look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.